The day his wife died, Daniel Harrison held her hand until it went cold. He remembers every detail of that December morning. The fluorescent lights of the hospital delivery room. The beeping of machines that grew more frantic before going silent. The way the doctors worked desperately, their voices shifting from encouraging to urgent to something worse. The moment when everything stopped and the only sound left was the crying of a newborn baby girl who would never know her mother. Sophie had been so excited about becoming a mother. For 9 months she had transformed their small cottage in the Cotswolds into a nursery paradise. Yellow walls because she didn't want to know the gender. A mobile of stars and moons that she'd spent weeks assembling. A rocking chair positioned by the window so she could watch the garden while she fed their child. She never got to sit in that chair. Not once. The pregnancy had been healthy. Every scan, every checkup, every test came back perfect. Sophie glowed with that radiance people always talk about but rarely see. She was 32 years old, fit, happy, ready to be a mother. And then, in the space of 20 minutes, she was gone. Postpartum hemorrhage, they called it. Massive bleeding that couldn't be stopped. The doctors explained it in clinical terms that Daniel couldn't absorb, words bouncing off the wall of his grief like rain off stone. His wife was dead. His daughter was alive. Nothing else penetrated. They let him hold Sophie after. Her body was still warm, her face peaceful, as if she were only sleeping. He held their daughter in one arm and his wife's hand in the other, and he made a promise to both of them. "I'll take care of her," he whispered. "I'll give her the life you wanted for her. I'll love her enough for both of us." He named the baby Lily. Sophie's favorite flower. The funeral was held on a gray Wednesday afternoon. Half the village came. Sophie had been beloved, the kind of woman who remembered everyone's birthdays, who baked extra scones for elderly neighbors, who organized the summer fete with infectious enthusiasm. The church overflowed with mourners who couldn't believe someone so alive could simply stop existing. Daniel stood at the graveside, holding 6-day-old Lily against his chest, and watched them lower his wife into the ground. He didn't cry. He'd used up all his tears in the hospital, in the empty house, in the nursery where Sophie's perfume still lingered on the rocking chair cushion. He simply stood there and let the first shovel of earth hit the coffin, and something inside him closed forever. Or so he thought. The first 3 years of Lily's life are a blur of survival. Daniel takes paternity leave, then extended leave, then finally resigns from his architecture firm entirely. He has savings. Sophie's life insurance comes through. Money isn't the problem. The problem is everything else. He learns to change nappies with one hand while heating bottles with the other. He learns that babies don't read the parenting books he buys in desperate midnight Amazon orders. He learns that sleep is a luxury, that silence is suspicious, that a crying baby can make you feel like the most incompetent person on earth even when you're doing everything right. His mother comes to help for the first month. His sister stays for 2 weeks after that. Friends bring casseroles and offer babysitting, but eventually the casseroles stop and the offers thin out. Life moves on for everyone except Daniel, who remains frozen in the moment his wife died. He doesn't date. The very thought feels like betrayal. His wedding ring stays on his finger, and Sophie's remains on a chain around his neck, resting against his heart where she should be. Lily grows. She has her mother's eyes, that particular shade of green that made Daniel fall in love in the first place. She has Sophie's laugh, a sound that simultaneously heals and destroys him every time he hears it. She is the living embodiment of everything he lost and everything he has left. On her first birthday, he bakes a cake and sings Happy Birthday alone in the kitchen, tears streaming down his face while Lily smashes frosting into her hair. On her second birthday, he manages to smile for the photos. On her third birthday, he wakes up and realizes something has shifted. The grief is still there, it always will be, but it's no longer the only thing. He can breathe now. He can imagine a future, even if it's not the one he planned. He starts thinking about returning to work. Maybe taking on a few freelance projects. Maybe rebuilding something from the ruins of his life. And then he gets the phone call that destroys everything all over again. It comes from his cousin James, who lives in Edinburgh. James and Daniel aren't close. They see each other at weddings and funerals, exchange Christmas cards, occasionally like each other's social media posts. But James sounds strange when Daniel answers, hesitant in a way that immediately raises alarm. Daniel, I need to ask you something, and I need you to stay calm. Daniel's heart pounds. What is it? Is someone hurt? Is it Aunt Margaret? No, everyone's fine. It's just... James pauses. This is going to sound insane, and I'm probably wrong. I'm probably completely wrong. But I saw someone today, and I can't stop thinking about it. Who did you see? Another pause. Longer this time. Sophie. The name hits Daniel like a physical blow. He sinks onto the kitchen stool, gripping the counter for support. That's not funny, James. I'm not trying to be funny. I know how it sounds. I know what happened. I was at the funeral. But Daniel, I swear to God, I saw a woman today who looked exactly like her. Not similar. Not resembling. Exactly like Sophie. It's not possible. I know. That's what I keep telling myself. But she had the same face, the same hair, the same way of moving. She was at a cafe in Leith with a man and 2 children, a boy and a girl, maybe 4 and 2 years old. And when I walked past, she looked right at me, and Daniel. James's voice drops. She recognized me. I saw it in her eyes. She recognized me, and she looked terrified. Daniel's hands are shaking. James, Sophie is dead. I held her body. I buried her. I know. But I can't explain what I saw. I took a photo, just one, on my phone, as I was leaving. I'm going to send it to you. And then you can tell me I'm mad, and we'll never speak of this again. The photo arrives 30 seconds later. Daniel stares at his phone screen, and the world stops spinning. It's Sophie. Not someone who looks like Sophie. Not a doppelganger or a relative. It's Sophie. The curve of her jaw, the way her hair falls across her shoulder, the particular tilt of her head when she's listening to someone speak. She's sitting at an outdoor cafe table, laughing at something the man beside her has said. 2 children sit between them, a boy with dark hair and a girl with blonde curls. Sophie looks happy, healthy, alive. And she looks exactly the same as she did the day she died. Not 3 years older. Not changed by time. Identical. As if the past 3 years never happened. Daniel enlarges the photo until it pixelates, searching for some flaw, some indication that this is a mistake. There is none. The woman in the photo has a small scar on her left eyebrow, a scar Sophie got when she fell off her bicycle at age 8. She wears a silver bracelet on her right wrist, the bracelet Daniel gave her on their 3rd anniversary. He would know his wife anywhere. And this is his wife. But his wife is dead. He watched her die. He buried her body. Didn't he? The next 48 hours are the most disorienting of Daniel's life. He doesn't sleep. He barely eats. He leaves Lily with his mother, a request that raises concerned questions he can't answer, and drives to Edinburgh, arriving at 3 a.m. with bloodshot eyes and a heart full of impossible hope. He finds James waiting for him with coffee and more questions than answers. I went back to the cafe today, James reports. Asked the staff if they knew the woman in the photo. The owner recognized her immediately. Said her name is Charlotte Hayes. She comes in every Saturday with her husband and children. They live somewhere in the new town. He didn't know the exact address. Charlotte, Daniel repeats. The name sounds foreign, wrong. Sophie never mentioned any connection to Edinburgh.